Alright guys, welcome. This is the first episode of Pono, or as we translate to English, to live well. As my guest today, we have Geoff Sato.
Hey, friend.
How's it, bruh?
Hey, welcome to the float.
Float Hawaii with Geoff Sato.
I own Dream Float Hawaii. I started about 4 years ago. Myself have floated probably a couple hundred times at least.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things, and I love it. It's changed my life, and I love to share it with people. It's our newer float tank. There's 10 inches of water, so it's really shallow. Lots of salt. It's really long, about 9, maybe 10 feet long. You can really stretch out, almost 6 feet wide,
Wow.
about 9 feet tall. And you float on your back for about an hour, and with the lights off, it's pitch black. The water's heated, so it's about your skin temperature.
So Geoff allowed me the opportunity to float in one of his tanks for an hour, and I floated a couple other times in the past, but he has a new tank. It's a bigger tank, more area for you to float, and with the smaller tank, sometimes you bump into the side walls, and it's nice, but it could be a little better. With this huge tank that he has now, it prevents a lot of that. And as for myself, after I floated in that tank, I feel very, very relaxed. Nowadays, we see that stress is one of these main things that are really affecting society, and I feel that Dream Float Hawaii has a really good solution and alternative to counteracting the effects of stress. The people that come and visit your float tanks, what are they trying to do? What are they trying to get out of it?
Well, everyone kind of floats for their own reasons. We have all different types of people come in. Some people do come in for stress because they have a high stress job or high stress life. And some people come in for pain, whether that's back pain or they have an injury or fibromyalgia. Some people come in for anxiety. Some people come in just to float, just to feel good, like a spa treatment. And whether it's for performance related or personal reasons, I mean, everybody floats, and everybody gets their own unique kind of benefits from it. But if you're looking at the larger kind of scientific and medical studies, no matter what they're studying, the main benefits are stress relief, pain relief, a reduction in anxiety, better sleep, and better mood. And so that's kind of the main benefits. And and stress is as something as it's kind of like this internal state, right? It's internally generated. Everybody has their own response to external stimuli coming in, and whether that's stressful or not. I think floating is really the best way to relieve stress because you're getting very relaxed. You're putting yourself into a very, very relaxed state. And you're also getting a very deep meditation. And those two things combined, I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think with stress just being so present in society nowadays, we don't have a way to adapt to it and learn to cope. That's when we see a lot of the negative results stemming from one of those sources of stress.
Sure, yeah, when we're not able to deal with it, it can affect our lives and put us in a negative state and into very unwanted or self-destructive behaviors and interpersonal relationships as well. It's a reflection of ourselves and what we're going through, and I think that's really one of the main benefits that I've gotten from floating is better interpersonal relationships because I'm feeling better, I'm calm, I'm centered, relaxed, feeling good, and that's gonna affect everything I do and everyone I come into contact with. I can be more present, more calm, more accepting, more kind, more loving, all these things. Hopefully more and more often, and it just becomes a normal thing.
And why wouldn't you want to be able to go through your life like that?
Right, it's really the best way. It's optimized. You're optimizing yourself and your relationships.
Right.
I think.
So that's one of the things I saw about Geoff is I actually met him in a yoga class that he was teaching back in the day, and I was cleaning the studios. He just finished his class, and we would always talk story after. And that was one thing that I saw about this guy, was that he was always so calm, grounded, and centered. And I knew he was onto something, and I decided to find out more. And so, for all of you that don't know, he's also a yoga teacher as well. And so, tell us a little about your yoga practice.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of being calm all the time, I'm not always calm all the time, and I'm not always relaxed, but, floating is just like yoga. It's another tool, it's another practice, it's another thing that you can do to help you, just come back to center and, create this larger meditative kind of observation of your life and learning to, I guess, control, all these little things that help us to feel good and to navigate ourselves and our lives better. As for yoga, I mean, I've been teaching a little over 5 years, I think, and my teaching, has evolved just like my floating and everything else, and I think floating really has been the key to taking my teaching to the next level, whatever that is, and I'd say like part of it is being able to kind of rehearse and go over my teaching in my head, and finding the best ways to say something, or the best way to theme this idea throughout my class, or the best way, like how am I going to teach this concept, and floating gives me the perfect space to think about all these things and to optimize them as well. It's also changing me because I'm being calm and relaxed and returning to this state and practicing this again and again and dissolving and kind of merging with the infinite, and it's changed my teaching, and I'm incorporating everything that I'm doing when I float into the yoga practice, and how do I convey that and make it a part of my class? And so I love it. It's a perfect combination for me.
It seems like yoga and floating, it just goes so
yeah,
hand in hand.
Yeah. It's my favorite thing to do after I float is either go to the beach or do a yoga class, and it's something about already being in a great state of mindfulness, of already being calm, relaxed, and being able to stretch your body after that. It just feels good. It feels real. That's the best I feel.
Yeah, I was in the tank and I felt super relaxed, and then I hit a point where I was like, all right, now I kind of want to start moving, and so I would roll my wrists and my ankles around and start getting some motion, and it's just your body has hit that point where it's so relaxed. Now it's ready to start influencing movement again.
Cool.
In a really relaxed state. That's what I was experiencing.
Yeah, and you can experience your body this time in a different context. Just the same way you experience your thoughts, yourself, your physical body. You're in a completely different context. So even if you have the same thought or sensation, you're floating. You don't have gravity. You don't have light coming in through your eyes. There's all these things that are different, and it allows you this immediate experience of yourself and your body and your mind and your totality, but in a different state, in a different context.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It's super interesting. Now, for people that have never tried floating, you're in a body of water filled with how many pounds of Epsom salt?
It's about 1,000 for the small tank. It's probably like 1,600 or 1,700 for the big one.
That's a lot of salt. But basically, you're going to be more dense than the water, and so you're going to be floating on the surface. And tell us a little more about the specifics. I know you heat the water to a certain temperature.
Yeah, it's heated to your skin temperature. It's about between 93 and 94 degrees. So that has interesting effects. Everybody has their own perceptual experience of it, and it can be different from each float and change over time. But generally it gets better and better, but as far as the skin temperature water, like some people, and as well as the reduction in sensory input on all levels on your nervous system, it has an interesting feeling to it. Like sometimes your body disappears, or sometimes certain body parts disappear, or sometimes you don't feel the water anymore, it just feels like air. Or sometimes the water feels different, like gel, or like a hard surface, or nothing at all. You know, then sometimes you feel like you're spinning in a circle or going upright or being pushed
Right.
up or being held and cradled, or some people feel like they're kind of sinking a little or flying. Some people would feel like they're rocketing like through space. Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and it can change over time. Sometimes you feel that for just a second,
Yeah.
and then it's like gone. you
Yeah,
know?
I was feeling like I'll be drifting
Mhm.
one way, maybe to the left for about
Right.
like
Forever.
10 minutes. I don't know. It probably was just a minute, but it
Oh,
felt like it was a
right.
long time.
And then maybe you touch the side.
Yeah, and you give a little pinky push,
Right.
and now I'm drifting to the right for another 10 minutes.
Or sometimes I think I'm touching the wall, and then I'm like, wait, I'm not touching the wall.
Yeah. It's kind of a trippy experience, and everyone's perception on it is going to be different.
Oh yeah.
That's the
totally.
beauty behind it.
Totally.
My experience is going to be very different from what you're experiencing, but
Mhm.
I think,
Mhm.
don't let me speak for you, but everyone is going to experience this in a different way, but they're all going to love it.
I think so. Yeah.
Is that what, is that what
Pretty-
you've seen?
Pretty much, I'd say like 99.9%
Yeah.
of people have love it, and you know, if you don't like it, the people who don't like it, and all they have to do is keep floating, just float again, and then sometimes those people who didn't have a good first experience just absolutely love it the second or third time,
Yeah,
you know, because it's a process.
it is.
And so like maybe my first float, I wasn't physically comfortable, my neck hurt, and I couldn't figure out how to relax it, right? And
Yeah.
it's such a novel experience, so new, because there's so many questions in your head, like what's going on now, what's happening now, you know, what am I doing this right, what's that, what was that, is this, you know, what's happening next? And for a lot of people, like it's, you know, it deals with this some level of letting go, of having to know what's going to happen next, right? Of having to know, like, I'm doing this and I know exactly what I'm doing. It's like, no, you got to kind of let go of that and not know what you're doing, what's happening.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's very interesting. And I think that's, you know, that's part of like a hurdle for some people, is not, you know, oh, I'm gonna fly. I've never done this before. And then when people haven't done something before, they start injecting all these things and create this big story and movie around it. And this is what's gonna happen, but I've never done it before. And then this is, you know, I'm scared, but I don't know. And then they, you know, people come and it's like, oh, it's nothing like you know, people think they're gonna be locked in a box, or they think like, oh, I've done an MRI, it's gonna be like that, right? It's like, no, nothing like that. No, it's not even close to that. And so, you know, just and people come and they love it, and the people who are a little apprehensive or like a little scared at first,
Yeah.
I think they end up loving it the most, like liking it even more, because after I show them the tank, and I'm like, oh, I can just open the door, oh, I can just come out, oh, it's fine, right?
Or at the bottom, it's just right there.
Right, it's right there. I can touch the floor. Oh, I'm gonna float. And then once they actually float, it's like, oh, this feels pretty good, you know. And then
then they dive deep into it.
yeah, and then it's like, and then, you know, whatever, they have their experience, and most times it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most times it's different than what they thought it could be. That's the thing, is that you can't, if you've never floated before, it's one of those things that you just don't know. You have no idea what it's gonna be like, and what it feels like, and it's something that no one can really explain to you. You just have to do it. You know, you just have to try it, and then you kind of know.
Right.
You know, and then after you know, then you do it again. It's like, oh, okay, now I know what I'm doing. I know, you know, I close, I put my arms here and I float, and then the music comes on and I get out, and okay, now. And then like the third, fourth, fifth time, they're like, oh, you know,
You're a
now,
pro.
yeah,
You know how to
they're
handle
like,
it.
that was the best one yet,
No way.
all the time. Yeah, I guarantee it happens every single time. So, that was the best one yet. You know, like,
That's so awesome.
yeah. And me, like, I floated hundreds of times, but I feel amazing right now. I just floated and I feel amazing. You know, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. I still don't know what's gonna happen when I float, but I kind of have an idea. But still, I'm still pleasantly surprised.
Right.
It's amazing. I'm so blown away by it. Like how good I feel. Like today, I was floating. Like I disappeared. My legs, my body disappeared. The water disappeared. It was nothing. I was just me. It was just infinite. In the infinite universe.
But totally present at the same time.
But totally present. It's so strange.
Yeah.
You're like completely present, but you're infinity, and you're the entire in the void of blackness and the entire universe. And I don't know. It's interesting.
It's interesting when you deprive your senses and you become all mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Or I don't. You can get as like trippy as you want,
Mhm.
but like you forget about this vessel that you're in, and you just go into a different state.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so I know I've had that times where it's an outer body experience, but today my experience was a little different where I have certain things on my mind, school, making social media videos,
Mhm.
new posts, content or things I'm trying to create, and I'm sitting there, I'm lying there in the water, and everything just gets narrowed in, and I get this like hyper focused state
Mhm.
where I'm like, yes, that sounds perfect, or maybe I should have done this a little different in the past. Going forward, how about this? And so it was a really like I thought it was very constructive,
Mhm.
and I could imagine like for people who are trying to get a little creative or really focus in on one thing in particular and work
Mhm.
through it. This is great, man.
Yeah, it's the best for it for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People come in specifically to either think about something or for their work or business or school. Yeah, totally. People do that all the time.
Mm.
And it's a great, yeah, like in terms of getting really focused, the environment, there's no distractions. And not just distractions in terms of like your cell phone and TV and whatever. It's no distractions in terms of the load on your nervous system that your nervous system is processing. So over 90% of it is removed. Right, so now there's more processing, there's more energy, there's more thinking, there's more capacity, there's more stuff to, room to do other things and think about other things. And so like one of the things I go through when I float is I also get very like hypersensitive physically because everything's tuned out, everything's reduced, so like I get very in tune with my body and what's happening. I can feel physical sensations very like clearly, and a lot of people do as well. But also mentally too, it's a great place, like to think about things, and to even if you have a performance, like an athletic, musical, business presentation, whatever.
Yeah.
Teach a yoga class, something.
Yeah.
And you can really like think about these things and go over them, and it'll improve your actual performance. But I mean, it's proven. It's been proven to work in terms of visualization, right? There's so many studies done on positive mental imagery and visualization in terms of performance, sports performance, things like that. As well as meditation. And you're doing both of those things right here.
Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone.
And 10 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah,
It's everything.
right.
Yeah, you're shifting everything. So it's great. That's just part of what's going. There's so many things like biochemically in your brain waves. All these changes are going on while you float. And some of these things make, that part of it is just a float. The other part is coming out. And these effects that you've created get processed. Some stay with you for long periods of time. Whether that's like, oh, I used to smoke and now I float. Maybe I floated once, like we had this guy float one time, 20 years of smoking, not a cigarette since.
No way.
Yeah, it's trippy. But like in some of the studies they'll say the effects lasted for up to 6 months for some of these people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
Very.
Wow. That so you hit on a topic where it's dear in my heart. I'm an athlete. I was brought up with a coach who would always say visualization is everything. He would take us into the conference room before a big water polo game, turn off the lights, and kind of like a guided meditation, he would lead us through seeing how the game is going to go. This certain play is going to develop. How are you going to react? What is your opponent doing? How are they trying to defend it? And flip it the other way when you're defending what they're trying to do. I think float tank is a great way to do that. If you were to have an athlete come in, or say a performer, what's the best way to program that into their training to lead up to that event where they want to perform?
Well, I mean, it's already being used by Olympic athletes, a lot of the pro sports teams, Steph Curry, Tom Brady, Patriots.
I know Steph Curry is a huge advocate for float tanks.
Yeah, he had a commercial with Kaiser.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, they all float. You know, all these teams float. And yeah, they use it for training purposes too. So they're resting and recovering physically, you know, because their bodies are put wear and tear on it. So that's a big component. And then, you know, for performance, whatever you do, you know, the more you can get in there and visualize it, I think the stronger the effects would be. We also have some people who do like jujitsu, another big thing in Hawaii, you know, that you can visualize your moves, and that's a big component of it. So if you even just getting in there once before whatever you have to do would be great. The closer you can do it, I think, to the actual performance, the better.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can do it 2 or 3 times leading up to it, then it's even better.
So perfectly to prime your system and your mind, your body for that performance. But you got me thinking now, so you do your performance. Imagine if you came to the float tank after and analyzed everything that went down in that performance.
Then you can use that as feedback, constructive feedback for next time.
Wow. Sounds very powerful, beneficial to any type of person trying to really produce some good results, whether it's in your home life, whether it's in your professional life. Nothing but really good benefits here.
Yeah.
I love it. So this is Geoff Sato, everybody. Tell them where they can find more information about you, about Dream Float Hawaii.
Oh, just online. We're on mostly like our main thing is Instagram, Dreamfloat HI. We have a link there to book floats on our website. And you know, there's a lot of content out there if you just do a search on Google or YouTube on floating in general.
Yeah.
You know, lots of people talking about their experiences, and it's great for a lot of things.
Love it. Geoff Sato, everybody. Thank you for all the love, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Alright. This concludes episode 1 of Pono. Stay tuned to next time. Cheers, everybody.
Nice, yeah, that was great.
Thank you, bro. Oh my god, you're so good. You spoke with so much passion.
Yeah, it took a few minutes to get warmed up.